everybody, it's Trend 608. This is another in the series of Unconditional Surrender in Europe. A game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games, developed by Mark Dye. This is the BGA module version, which stands for Board Game Arena. There is also a fairly sophisticated Vassal module that we have modded up to taking care of some of the bookkeeping things on it. All sorts of bells and whistles. I did a lot of the adding of the bells and whistles in the Vassal module. BGA module will enforce the rules, so you can't forget something, because it just won't let you. That's one good thing about the BGA module. It will definitely teach you how to play the game. If you want to do more what-ifs, I would recommend the Vassal module, because you can just say, no, let's undo these last 4 moves and try something else and see if it looks better. Kind of hard to do here. There are certain things, like once you capture a city, you can't take it back, and things like that, which, I mean, kind of makes sense. At some point, you have to quit letting people redo their moves until they, finish their turn. I know one of the rules that we play with when I play in the Vassal module is if you've rolled the dice, from that point backwards, we can't back up, unless it's an absolute rules violation. Otherwise, if you say, oops, I forgot to do something, but you've already rolled the dice, then you can't really take it back. And that happens here, too. Once you roll the dice, you can't undo a combat once you've committed to it. So, anyway, to recap this, this stands for the Collapse UK, Cripple UK Collapse USSR. I had done a pretty good job of that. I was trying to get a medlock, and I have been very successful with the Allies in my defense of Gibraltar and French North Africa here. We're coming up on September of 1943. We will roll the die for the Soviets at the end of November of 1943. And 4 of the German armor are all tied up here in the Middle East, or not the Middle East, but in the Eastern Mediterranean. So, or is this Western? North, Southeast, this is Western Mediterranean, sorry. Around Gibraltar and French North Africa. So I would say this is a successful defense, even if I ultimately lose Gibraltar, because the German armor is kind of out of place. It's going to take a while to get it back where you really want it to be. Technically speaking, I should probably move at least one of these back to France, because the Allies are going to have, what have they got here? They've got 1. Well, let's go look at the turn track. What do we got on the turn track? I think this is the German airborne, but it won't show me what that unit is underneath the heavy artillery. I think that's the German airborne, airdrop marker. So they have an Ultra here, and they have a surprise attack marker coming in December. They've got 1 in their pocket, and I think it's the British 7-2 and 8. So the British are right at 20, so they can't quite afford to skip and build their surprise attack marker. But definitely have 2 by the end of the year, and the Americans might actually try an invasion before then. That's interesting. And I also have an American army coming, which could make it much harder to take out French North Africa for me. So either I didn't commit enough, or I just had bad luck. I'm not sure which. But it doesn't look like I'm going to succeed in my Gibraltar gamble here. Basically have 1 more turn, and then I have to send at least 1 armored away to bolster up the east, I think. As far as the Diplomacy Cup goes, there's 1 pro-Axis, 1 pro-Western, and a political failure, and 5 no events. I'm not sure I even want to try to do anything with that. From the Axis standpoint, they really don't have um, a realistic chance of bringing in Sweden because they don't have, there's only one political success left. And a political failure could put a pro-Western marker in Sweden, and then if they pulled their pro-Western marker, then it would activate Sweden against me. So it looks like I'm going to be defending Norway without Sweden, which is kind of hard because you got to supply them through one, you know, one convoy if I can ever get it back there. I don't know where it is now. Is it? Oh, yeah, it's in the North Atlantic. So I've got to try and see if I can get through the gauntlet of the uh, British Air and Navy. Yeah, so this is not ideal. I'm probably going to end up having to send another German infantry into Spain from somewhere, which I have no idea where I'm going to get it from. It might just be a garrison to slow down the Western Allies in Spain if they decide to come through Spain in the fall of '43 and go onwards. Um, I've managed as the Western Allies to mess up the German timetable. Anyway, we're at declaration of war phase, and it's like, no, thank you. Um, Now, the West could declare war on something, but there's really no reason. They have a pro marker in Portugal. They can possibly activate it and then just move units in, because the Germans are not really set up to take out Portugal very well. So I think I don't want to declare war on anything. Germans can give away production points. They have 36. Let's check this. Where are we at here? So Germany's at as much as they can have. They have their full 15, and nobody's taking any away, -1, which are always a minimum of 1. So that's 14 active factories and 4 extra. So I'm at 18. That's 36. In December, I will go up on another factory to go up to another 2. December 43. And I get 3 more through the year of 44. And then at 45, you get to your 9th one. One of the things about this was a change not too a year or two ago. Used to be the Germans only got their economic aid every 6 months. It's only the first year in 42 that it takes 6 months, and then in 43 and 44 it cranks up by every 4 months. And what that does in most games, if the Soviets are doing well and the West is doing well, between bombing and capturing of factories, you'll get the Germans down to, in 1945, you can have the Germans down around 10 or even 9 factories, and possibly 9 lost factories. Well, before you would only have 6 extra factories, which means the Germans really wouldn't be able to do anything except sit there and let you just attack wherever you wished. Now, if they get up to 9 factories, with 18 points, you can actually move your armies around and maybe replenish a couple and maybe even build a couple. So, for that kind of endgame, it makes a sense. If you're doing well as the Germans here, where I have, lots of space yet to give, it makes it easier for the Germans to do whatever they need to do to try and get things done. All right. Do I need to transfer anything? I don't know that I'm going to spend 38 points. Where's my Air Force? Yeah, my Air Force is kind of beaten up. Because the Americans have been holding out in North Africa. They must have Patton down there or something. I don't see a reason. It's just I don't see a reason to give anybody a point here in September. Romania. Do we have anything to move over here? We do have some Germans that we're going to probably move around. Maybe some Yugoslavs. He's where he belongs. Where's the other Romanian? The other Romanian is down here by Greece. Probably both the Greek and the Romanian are going to leave here. This armored unit definitely is leaving. And I probably should get some German lines, quote unquote, built. I definitely have some very thin line here. It's going to be a very thin gray line because I just don't have the physical number of units. I think I get an infantry to build here soon. Maybe it's next turn. Or did I build it? Yeah, he's here. So I'm only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll have 10 German infantry and a German armored. And that's what I have to build my line with. Plus a couple of, I think I was going to move an Italian infantry, wasn't I? Yeah, I was going to, this Italian infantry, that's the rail move today, is going to go to the east. So, sir, I would say I'm not going to give anything because I don't see the Italians needing to have 13 this turn. So I'm not going to give anybody anything. I don't think I need anybody to have extra points this turn. So now we're at, this is that, I've had this discussion before, whether you should use your submarines or not to guarantee that you're at max. I'm at 36. If I lose a factory for a turn, I don't care. Because next turn, the Soviets still won't be in, so I can, if I really feel like I have to be at max, I can use my submarine at that point to try and make sure that I get it back. I'm only at +4 instead of +3. I'm only at +4 instead of +3. Why is that? It should be at +5. Oh, did they take back Suez? Oh, that's right. I forgot. I invaded at Suez again. So I probably should have given the Italians a point. I forgot that I invaded at Suez. So the Germans are going to be trying to attack this while it's still isolated, even though he's got air cover. He will be 5. I realized last time that I made a mistake in how I defended. When I retreated, I shouldn't have retreated to here. I should have retreated up to here. Because that makes me vulnerable going in this direction. I totally forgot about that. So that makes it a whole different animal here for the West. The West's not going to use their partisans because they can use their partisans now here in Egypt to try and break through some of this. This also means that the Germans have to do something here, which I didn't really want to do, but I'm going to have to. Yeah, this kind of cramps up everything. Gives the West attacks from both sides. I remember this now. I managed to get lucky and pull this off at Suez. Okay. Yeah, the Germans aren't going to play it because they're only at 1 lost factory. They want to save it for when they're actually down a factory. And the British aren't going to play it because that partisans counter is way too important for trying to break out of the Nile. So, enough of that. We're not going to commit anything. And we both got a factory back. Germany doesn't go any lower than 1. And the West gets to move theirs down to 4 lost for the UK. Okay. A strategic move for the Axis. This is a bit of a quandary. Again, I'm short of assets because I'm been tied up on the western end, because normally you would just rail an armored unit back here and be done with it. But I don't have an armored unit to send back here because I needed to try and break through to capture Tangier. Don't really have a good strategic move. Only thing I can think of for long term is to bring this German infantry down here so that he can't break out to the into the Middle East through the Turks in the west. I was thinking about, did I need to move the Americans back, but I'm not on a rail line, so I can't do that. Was there anything up here? I don't have a convoy up there. It's up in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. So no way to bring the BEF down here. Try and find out where I stored all my convoys. There's one. There's two. Right. There's two. Oh, I still have one in Malta, 3. So I still have the sort of Malta invasion possibility. Especially if I get a big breakout here, that becomes a much more serious threat. Okay. No, I don't think I have one. And the Soviets. I think they just strategically moved this airplane to be on 1 patch closer to Germans. Saves me sorties. Not that I need the production points for anything, but get into good practice there. If I need to shift air northward, depending on how the German line stacks up, I don't know where I'm going to shift my stuff. All right, that's that. Axis operations. This is. I didn't realize how bad this was. Yeah, the West is going to be doing fairly well here, I think. So we're going to have the Italians go after the Americans. Wow, I got stomped. Oh, that's bad, because that means that the Germans have to go after him. All right. He's at 3, so that means one, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, 8. This is the only place I can be that I can actually hit that American unit. Okay, so now I have to do a little bit of a shuffle. It's only so I can get 2 attacks off here. So he'll go back to here. He should be able to come back down to here. And then we attack here. Throwing the airplane, so we're +5 to +3. No effect. Like I said, the 5th Army here has been holding up against the Germans very well. And now it's just going to be +3 to +3. So 3 no effects in a row pretty much seals the fate of the German army here. I can try and do this again without the heavy artillery. It's not going to be very successful. First thing we're going to do is suppress the British Air Force because, hey, why not? We have to, basically. So now I can attack with 4. Well, first thing I should do, I need to try and get this out of here. I'm not going to escort it because I think that's just a waste. I'm going to go here. And then, technically, I'd like to get here and here. So if I can get there, then I'm threatening to invade this part of North Africa and make him bring more assets over here. And then I still might be able to do a desperation invasion in front of the American fleets and stuff. Probably not. Probably won't work. So that's what we're going to try and do. But he doesn't know that. He just knows I'm going into there. In general, I want to keep this convoy from helping out in Norway. So even if it was heading south, I still would want to stop it to keep it from going north. Right now, I don't have a lot of reasons not to use, like the 8th Fleet, which I will do. So I'm going to use the 8th Fleet to intercept that convoy. I'm not going to use my submarines here. We're just going to hope that he rolls, let's see, if he rolls a 1. Oh my. I can't even get through. Okay, that was stupid on my part. What I missed there is, with the Americans being at full and they get a +1, minimum they're going to get is a 3, and because I have so many sorties, the minimum I'm going to get is a 1, and a 3 to a 1 is a DR2. So that was just a wasted move. I should have just sat there and replenished myself down to where I had like no sorties, so I would be at least at a +1 and have a chance to get through. So that was my stupidity. All right. Well, we're not going to pass here because we got too much else to do. Stop it. I don't want to be down there. Well, this not getting past the 5th Army here has really hurt us. Really, really bad. Where's my thing? So this Italian's going to move here. I got to start heading him back to holding Tunis because Tunis is going to be an anchor for early 44 in the winter here. And then over here, we have a problem. Because if I attack, I would be 4. Throw in the Italian for 5, the Turk for 6, and armor for 7, 8. I could throw in the Italian armor, so that would be 2, 4 for isolation. Right? 2 plus 2 for isolation is 4. He becomes throw in a tank, that's 5, 6. He becomes a tank, 7, 8. He's a Turk is 9. And I can throw a ground support on there if I really want to for 10. And then -1 because it's a city. So I would be +9 to his +5. Which means I might get a retreat. Right? Might, mind you, get a retreat. Oh, this is terrible. Well, I guess we have to go. If I get a retreat, at least he'll be flipped. So he'll be -1 plus his airplane. So at best +1 coming after me. So I think that's the way to go. So I'm just going to go after it with an assault. Because I don't have the air power to negate him, I'm going to have to do something about that. I don't know what at this point. So we're just going to do it this way. We'll go see what the combat odds are. We're going to go here. And if I throw at this tank, at this ground support, and he throws in that airplane, what's our table look like? Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he's got a 10 and 36 of nothing happening to him. So a little bit under fourth. Right? 10 and 36. That's 5 and 18. So just under a third the time. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the best we're going to get is +9 to +5. And that is the way it's going to come out. The British are definitely going to want to throw on their airplane to hang on to Suez because it gives them something that they can use. And then they will, everybody commit. And I did manage to get a really good die roll for a change. The split went in. Whereas on the other side of the Mediterranean, all the splits went towards the Allies. On this side of the Mediterranean, it went to the Germans. Now here it says naval evacuation. This is a mistake. This is another little glitch in the PGA. There is no port on this sea zone that I can actually retreat to. So I can't use this function. It's the button's there, but you can't actually use it. So what you have to do is you have to just click on the square so that he'll flip you over like you're supposed to be done. That button, I think if you click that button, you can actually end up in a crash because it's trying to do something that it can't do. All right, so I did that part. It is September. If I really want to get rid of the British, I could take this armored unit down here to clean them out of Suez. I could take it across the line and then strategically move it in October. Then in November, pound the British out of existence. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that because I am running out of time to set up my lines up here. I don't have very good lines to begin with, so yeah, I'm going to be in a world of hurt here. Definitely going to be in a world of hurt. Yeah, that's why this was important, because it's kept an Italian unit from going over to the east by a strategic movement. I was going to move that guy up in northern Italy, but I had to bring a German infantry down here in case this failed and the British decided to attack here. You know, they could attack into across the canal with their airplane. They'd be like +3 to +1 and then +3 to 0. They could bring in another unit to drop into Suez. Then they won't be isolated, and then he would be threatening to just like run off to recapture things like Jerusalem, which becomes a limited supply source, and then he can actually run across to cut me off in Baghdad and, you know, try and free up things over there. It's just like, it's a nightmare. So can't let the nightmare continue, so to speak. Hopefully these guys will be enough. It does mean that the Russians may very well break into Turkey, so I may have to do something else there. Like maybe this Turk will go back to Turkey, and the German infantry will take his place next turn. Dang. Well, I can do the simple ones. This guy is to charge off to Russia. And this Yugoslav is to charge off to Russia. Gotta go to the Soviet Union because those are going to be my. I'm running out of physical ground units that I can actually do anything with. These guys will come up here. That's 2. Yeah, see, I'm running out of German infantry. I need to have more German infantry here. Not sure what to do here. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. Not enough German ground troops. And no more ground troops coming, I don't think, on the turn track, if I remember right. I mean, I give it a garrison in November, but that's not really going to do much. Yeah, I've got problems. Here, River City. At least I don't have to worry about invasions of Norway at the moment. He doesn't have anybody on that sea zone. That's within 2 sea zones of getting into Norway. So now, part of the problem, I've got a lot of German assets tied up down here in North Africa and Spain. But part of the problem is the Allies don't. You got to remember, the Western Allies have, what is it, 6 American armies? 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and French. And the British have 3 armies. So all total, they have 9 armies. And right now, I have him committed 3 armies. So 1/3 of his force is committed to playing around in the North Africa. At the beginning of 44, I'm going to get to the point where I really don't care if he takes the time to go conquer Italy, because it's time, and he's getting down to 12 turns and less. So it may get to a point where I just don't care about Italy and Spain and let him do his thing. If he wants to march through Spain and Italy and go after Italy, it's going to take him at least 3 turns or so. Especially in poor weather, he's probably not going to get very far at all until he gets decent weather in the warm zone. And I think I can delay him long enough that it'll look like the 43 campaign from history, but it'll be happening in 44. And if it's happening in 44, that means Overlord isn't happening and Germany's not directly threatened. Trying to go through Germany, through the southern Alps here, a handful of German infantry there just pretty much stops that. And they can be pulled from France, because I won't care about France, because you won't be able to invade over there. So, yeah, this is sort of a trap for the Western Allies. From my standpoint, I look at it as this is keeping German assets in North Africa, and then most of this stuff is going to leave. I mean, I might try and do an invasion into Basra at some point to relieve the strategic warfare thing. But really, strategic warfare has to be done by the bombers at this point, not by capturing the ports. I need to hold Gibraltar, because this is tying up a whole lot of German assets. Holding Gibraltar is important. Okay? Just why the Germans are going to have to try another desperation attack on Gibraltar and see if they can get away with it. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to move this armored unit. I think I'm just going to head him back to the east. At this point, I really don't think I have the time to screw around. It's going to take me a couple turns to get him where I want him to be. This Italian's definitely got to rail over there, because that's what this garrison's supposed to come take his place. And then I'm going to have to bring a German armored unit up here over the winter to guard against some kind of because right now I have no reserves for an invasion of Normandy. but he also only has one invasion marker, so it's kind of easy to contain one invasion marker, and then reserves can get there. He doesn't get a second one until December, so which means he's probably not coming across here. He might try and pull off an invasion here at Bergen, which will be another problem because I can't get my convoy out of here. I am seriously thinking about maybe I should give up on the whole Gibraltar thing because it's September and just eliminate this turn. Get rid of the convoy here and then rebuild him in, rebuild him in October, and then in November he can actually start supplying these guys up here. That might be the way to go. Because I'm not going to get sorties. If I get down to 2 sorties, he's going to go ahead and fly his airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm going to have to eliminate that. Should have done that last turn. Was thinking greedily with the Germans that I'm going to get my, convoy to Cadiz, and then I'm going to invade Tangier, and then I'm going to isolate Gibraltar, and it's just not in the cards. Too many fleets here, not enough German air. So I botched this up, okay? Whatever I did, it's not nearly as good as, if you go onto my channel here and look at there's a CUCU campaign vassal module going on. The German did a much better job there of containing me and blowing up my fleets and things. My opponent was very, very, very good at what he was doing. I'm not sure exactly what I did differently. I think maybe he had this airplane in the rotation too. I don't think he has any airplanes defending Germany. So I think he had like 2 German aircraft sitting here that he could, how I rotated these 2 last time. He would rotate them through quite often, and he had the Italian air, was able to get up closer to me. I haven't had very much success here against the Allies. He did have a very good success there. So I learned from my mistakes there as the Allies, and as the Germans, I just haven't been able to get the splits. I mean, I've had 5 to 3s, and they unable to get any splits to force him to retreat. So I didn't make any ground, and that's like 2 turns. I don't think I made ground in August either. And that's what's going to tell on me, because now he has the ability to do other things. So I do need to make this sort of desperation attack here. I don't have the airdrop marker. I don't have a whole lot of extra assets. So we're going to attack with this guy. 4, 5, 6. 7 minus 1. So it'll be plus 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it'll be like plus 8 and halved. So not very good odds here because he's plus 3. And then we'll go ahead and attack with this guy. So I'm plus 6, and I throw in the airplane to be plus 8. He has nothing he can throw in. So you can see plus 8 and halved versus his plus 3. I only have a 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a 4 and 36, 1 in 9 chance of actually flipping him. And if I flip him, then I might have a chance to actually get it. So, but I think I kind of got to try. Go for it. Commit everything, and there's no effect. And there's no reason to bother with this armored unit at that point. Okay, and now from the Spanish point of view, one of the things they need to do is this guy needs to go here. And this guy needs to go here. Now what we're looking at there is he brings in the Portuguese. I can't let him just waltz around in Spain and like go capture a city or could he? 1, 2, 3, 4. He couldn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, he could have actually gone in and like captured Madrid with the Portuguese. So I'm just trying to make sure I keep them contained. Alright, that's it there. I don't really have anything to move here in the west. Can I move this? Can I move this guy off here? I probably should move this garrison up someplace semi-useful. I don't know where I'm going to put him ultimately. Probably behind the river in the forest as my backstop. I want to keep him on a rail line just in case I decide to have to rail him at the last minute. So I could put him there. Yeah, let's just go put him there for now. Okay, and then with 19 to do, I'm going to get rid of the convoy, so I only need to do the 1, 2, 3, 4 airplanes. Oh, that's one thing I want to do with the Italians. Do not sit in Brindisi, sit in Taranto. Reason being is if the British managed to get, here into North Africa, in Benghazi or something, or even to Alexandria, they could invade at Taranto, and then Brindisi would be isolated, which gives them a chance to eliminate me there, take that port, then have 2 ports in the south of Italy to bring troops in and everything and just make my life miserable. By putting him in Toronto, yeah, he can still land at Brindisi unopposed, but now if he manages to hit me in Toronto, I will fall back into the mountains and he will not be... He doesn't get an extra will point out of me, and I actually have a unit that it can possibly counterattack, depending on how serious the invasion is. Right now we have other troubles. So I have to do the Italian air, German armor. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have to do 5 this turn. This is going to be bad. I don't think there's anything else for me to do. I still have a point left with the Yugoslavs, don't I? So I could get this Yugoslav. I'm going to sacrifice the Yugoslav in Kharkov. I think I want to put him in front of Dubnostric. Reason being is that if he does like break through the German, then he can't just run into Dubnostric. He actually has to roll some dice to get there. So yeah, I'm way short units. I don't know how my opponents always make it look so easy to have proper defense of everything everywhere. It seems like I'm always 3 units short. Okay. Alright. And then we're gonna... I think we're done moving stuff around. I guess the question is should this Italian stay here? Because he's going to have to go to low supply. I can't supply him too. Or should I just start running him back? Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. What am I down to? Oh, I'm already down to 8, so no, I can't do that. I'm at 9. I can't move him because I need to do my 2 convoys and my airplane. So, yep, I can't move any more Italians. I think I'm done. I might have missed something somewhere, but I don't think so. There's nothing I can do about the long the long way to Berlin, so I'm going to get hit for that one no matter what. Okay, so we're going to pass. Skip the next voluntary. Do I want to skip the next electrician war? Yeah, Germany's not going to actually declare war. I might end up fighting somebody, but it's not going to be because I declare war. So we do it the easy way first. But it's on the mainland. We know these guys are all going to have to go to limited supply because my convoy's broken. Oh no, undo. I screwed up here. Undo. Undo. Okay. So when I pass, I do not want to skip the next voluntary elimination phase because I want to get rid of that convoy so I can rebuild it and at least start supplying my guys in Norway. Right? I forgot about that. So I'll supply all. So now I actually can have this guy go to Baghdad. I have to let him go to limited supply. Limited supply, limited supply. You can't do that. Why does he do this? You can't add 4 to that one. You can only add 3, you stupid shit thing. I really hate that it does this. Alright, let's just... Makes me do this the hard way. Who's down here? Who is that? That is the 9th Battalion. So he can stay at limited supply. The 8th can go to limited supply. So I'm going to try an F5 and see if that fixes the supply thing. Nope, his supply calculations are just plain old broke. Very annoying. I have to do this manually to get it right. Shoot. That's what I forgot. I wonder if I can undo all these. 2, 3. This guy can't get supplied. Okay. I messed up. Yep, that was my mistake. Actually, what I did here was a complete mistake. I'll tell you why. I don't know if I can undo all this. Let me see if I can get away with an undo. 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 I didn't fight fight any combat, so maybe it'll let me go all the way back. If I can get all the way back to moves, I got to make a move here. Oh no, that'll make him be undersupplied. Yeah, it's not going to matter. Nope, I might as well just do it this way. Okay. Yeah, see, I can only supply 3 units here. Maybe I should just get rid of the Italian Air Force. And rebuild it next turn. I have 1 unit I can't supply because I don't have a rail line to here. Right here. Why doesn't this thing move? Damn. There's the other way. You can see it better this way. What I did wrong, and it's just me being stupid. This guy only had 4 movement points, so I had to attack here. This Turk here should have moved 1, 2, and attacked. Reason being is then I would have a rail line into here. This guy could go into this one, and one of these guys could go up there too. Right now I don't have a rail line over here because of the British sitting here. This happened to me last time where I wasn't paying attention. So, yeah, I have a problem here with supply. That I have to not supply something. That's why it's trying to give me 4 here, and it says it wants me to do 4 units on that supply thing, and I can't. So we're going to, well, we're definitely going to do the Panzer. We're going to do the 10th. Now the question is do I bother with the Italian Air Force? I think I just removed the Italian Air Force like I was going to remove that convoy and just rebuild it back in Italy and send it down here to deal with the Middle East. I think that's the way I have to go. Because I really need to have the 9th be in supply so that the British don't have an easy breakup. I need to be able to move them around and fix this for the future. So, yeah, that's what has to happen. Oh. I just say don't supply them because I'm going to remove them anyway. I don't care. Okay, so now we get to do the West. So we done good there. We do have a problem here in that this is only a +1 unit. How fast can I get BF? Cannot get all the way there. The American 1st Armored could get there at the end of the next turn. Because it would be 3... damn it. 3... 6, 9, 10. The 8th Army has to hang on for another turn. Does it have any good attacks here as a reduced unit? That's the question. I don't have anybody I can follow up with if I succeed at anything. If I don't do anything, then I will be at 0 sorties on the aircraft. So I can defend like up to 6 attacks against me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about how many attacks I could roughly suffer. Unless he does a couple of assaults. That's a toughie. Because the only thing I have to bring in afterwards is the 10th, and the 10th will just get annihilated out of Suez. And then I'll be in a whole supply situation. If I hadn't been flipped, I would be far more confident in trying to like go after this Italian and then, you know, maybe break on through to Alexandria and then have everybody switch over to there. But at only +1 plus the airplane would be +3 -1 for the river, -1 for the city. I'd be at +1 to his 0. So not real high up. Same thing applies with the Turk. And it'd be +2 to +2 if I go after the German infantry. So I don't think there's any reason to spend the production points here. I can't really afford to build a surprise attack marker because I have to spend 2 here to flip him over. And I'll flip the airplane and the convoys and stuff. So yeah, I will probably not do anything with the West. This is holding really well. This is holding really well. The only thing I can think of is I probably need to put something in Plymouth so I can move the BEF. And I'm short. I need to be able to move the BEF away. What I really want to do is I want to put the BEF like in the South Atlantic Ocean. Because then it can be moved around. Now, I need to have something. What have I got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I suppose I could take the 3rd convoy. What have I got coming? Building an infantry. So I could take the 3rd U.S. convoy. To put him in harm's way. We're going to go here. Then we're going to sail back to Eastern North America because I'm going to need him next turn. Now the Germans could try to intercept it, but it really wouldn't do anything. It'd use up my surface action. It'd use up my aircraft. I'm already short on sorties, so I'm just going to say no. And actually for this movement phase, no, I can't say that because he might try to do an invasion then. So no more interceptions for the convoy. Just go. And then I want to have Force H and the convoy down here. Just move them with escort. Hello. He'll just escort. Confirm escort. And what we're going to do is we're going to move to here, to here, and then to Plymouth. And then he could intercept me here, but it's fair weather. That's a +4 British against my +1. Let's see. If I get a 6, he gets a 7. Best I can get is a 7. Worst he can get is a 5, which means he gets by. So, no. Just let him go where he wants to go. He's got to have sorties on him with Force H for that to hurt me. So now that's a bother for the Germans because now he has an invasion possibility with the BEF. He can go to somewhere in Spain, like if Portugal comes in, he could invade at Corona, and so on and so forth. So now I got to pay attention. Yeah, this is getting a little bit more intense than I thought it would be. I'm going to stay here. I'm holding out, and I'm doing well. I can get the first U.S. infantry to go help the BEF, or I can send the BEF to South Atlantic right now. It takes away the invasion threat versus him. Such a quandary. 2, 4, 8 is 12. 6 is 18. Right? 22. So something doesn't get dealt with. Probably Force H. What do we got to build? Nothing. Okay. I have to think about that. Let's do the easy stuff here. Bombing run. Here. Here. There. Confirm. And then this guy. Bombing run. Here. Here. There. Confirm. And yes. Intercept. Commit. And stopped. Okay. That's all I'm going to do there. 4 for bomber command. 3 for the fighter, and so that's 10 out of 20. 2 for the guy, so that's 12. That's 18. Right? And then I can do 2 more 3s. So Force H won't get filled up the first time around. Okay, I am going to take the BEF, Naval Transport, and this as well. It won't. I won't have the ability to invade C-Zone 10, but that's probably not a good place to go anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to move these guys. Confirm escort. I thought about moving them into the South Atlantic, but I don't need to, because from here it's 10 to get to anywhere that's important. I don't know. Can I get all the way to... See, I could move them all the way to South Africa, but I don't threaten anything. Not South Africa. To the Western Indian Ocean and South Africa, I don't threaten anything. There's no invasion threats or anything. So it's kind of a pointless thing. But if I do move them up to here, where the heck is it? If I just stop them in eastern North America, North Atlantic Ocean, I should say. So that's where, if I just move them there, what I'm doing is I'm threatening... no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste it on that. He's still +3. It's like I need a 6-1 split to even get to the convoy. And even then, what do? I force him back into Plymouth, so it doesn't really help me. By moving this where I'm moving it, it's going to stay there. Alright, so by moving where I moved, the BEF now is, he's 1 move away from getting to the Middle East. He can land in Suez in 1 move. Yes, he can go that far, amazingly enough. And so can the 1st Armored. But more importantly, the 1st BEF could also do an invasion at Corona, or I could move him to reinforce Portugal if I get them, or he could invade Brest from up there. So sea zone 7, 16, and I can get all the way to the Suez by a naval move. That's fairly flexible on where I need to go. Plus, I can always bring him back to England if the Germans figure out a way to invade me. Okay, so I think I'm happy here. Gotten my one bound marker. Yeah, I think I'm done here. All right. We're not going to eliminate anything. This is the obvious one. And the only reason why I'm doing this exercise is because in a real, like on the board game, the German would just ask the Allies, "Are you going to escort each of your convoys?" And the Allies would answer honestly, "Yes, I'm going to do them." And so the German would just say, "Then just run up your sorties and we'll call it even." And we don't have to do this. In BGA, you actually have to do all the mechanics. Or the Axis can just say, "Well, I'm not going to intercept anymore." But if you do that, then you don't run up the fleets at all. Okay? And in this case, I want to try to run up the fleets. So that's why I'm doing this. It's more of a mechanical thing, courtesy to my Axis opponent, that I'm going to do this no matter what, and they're just going to say no more interceptions for the convoy. By keeping, I had one opponent saying, "Well, either intercept or don't intercept." I'm like, that's part of the game. You have to decide whether you're really going to do an escort or not. I'm trying to run up your sorties. So, no, do the work. I'm not going to just give you a free ride. In the past, I gave him a free ride, but here I want to make sure this guy goes up to 3 sorties. So that he'll be at -1 sortie for any shenanigans he wants to try and do with them next turn. Okay? So that's why I'm doing this. It doesn't matter for this American fleet, because he runs up 2 sorties, he comes down 2 sorties. He doesn't care. Okay? But this fleet, it does. So that's why I'm doing this. So sorry to be so tedious and annoying, and for you players that watch this and say, "Why didn't you just say no on an intercept anymore?" This is why. I want him to run up sorties on his escorting fleet. Once he's done that, because it matters on these. Otherwise, he would be at a 0 against next turn. Next turn, he's going to be at a -1, not at a 0. All right? And then that makes it easier possibly for my airplanes to do something about his Navy, and so on and so forth. It's a very subtle thing. A lot of people don't want to deal with that. It's important, people. It is really far more important than you know. One sortie can make the difference sometimes. That -1 for that one sortie can make the difference on you getting, like my convoy away, or an airplane knocking it out so that I can actually interdict his supply and then have Gibraltar be isolated, or something like that. It's kind of important. So I wanted to do the mechanics for you. And then, of course, the Germans don't want to waste this because they want to use it in the future. But the West doesn't know that. Okay? All right. So now, And again, I'm saving my assets. I'm just making the allies do their thing. Oh, that was stupid. I should have said no more interceptions because it doesn't matter for this one. Oh well, I gotta do the mechanics again. Come on. Piece of junk. Because now, if the Western Allies had chosen not to use an escort here on one of these, I would have probably intercepted with the airplane in an attempt to maybe get a DR2. Reason being is then he would be up more sorties and it would be easier for me to cut off supply. So that's why it's important that you actually make the Allied players do this sometimes so that they run their sorties up. And I'm not going to intercept any more of this phase because those are the only ones that can be rung up anyway. It's going to let me do the other two over in there. Because I'm not going to intercept these fleets if they don't run up sorties for that. And then these guys, I couldn't intercept anyway. Ta-da. All right, we're to the Soviets. Not a lot to do for the Soviets. Sir, sir, I was gonna do something. What was I gonna do? I was gonna put something in that forest hex. I think it was gonna be an infantry unit, right? What was I gonna do, kids? I don't remember. I think it was I was gonna move that infantry into here. I think that's what I was gonna do. I don't remember. I don't remember what my thought processes were there. So yeah, I guess that'll do. That's my huge move for October. Ta-da! No, I'm not going to eliminate anything. Confirm. Supply all. Supply all. In case there's something that needs supply that way. Now we're to eliminate units. And as I talked about, I want to get rid of that air unit. And I want to get rid of the German convoy because I'm never going to get out of here. He's got an airplane and stuff. So when you're eliminating, you highlight them first. And then you hit eliminate units. And you see them come off the list. And then you have to say confirm. Now I can improve. So I get my two convoys, this German infantry, and then all four airplanes. Okay, so there we go. It's not going to be enough, I don't think. Not going to be enough. So we're done there. And now in the west, well, let's do the easy ones. Yep, 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 yep. Now for the British, must do that. And then the first RAF must do that. Okay. I've got 13 left. Who's this? Fourth convoy. I probably should do him. Right? I've got 10 left. So I think I want to do Bomber Command. And then I have 2 3s. I want to do this airplane. Just because it costs the Germans sorties to deal with it. cost them at least one sortie to get rid of that airplane, which is important. Like I said, one sortie sometimes can make the difference. And then who do I want to have be at 0? Convoy. I think I'm going to have Malta become 0 because it becomes more of a threat for, an end run invasion, because a 0 strength British convoy is the equivalent of the Italian fleet. They're both zeros net. Plus, once I do that, then he's just done, and I don't have to worry about him anymore. And then I can concentrate on the rest of the fleets. All right, that's what I'm going to do. The Soviets could upgrade. It's only September, so no, we're not going to upgrade. Not upgrading until November. Americans. Their first army, and I don't have stuff to buy. Surprise attack marker. Soviets are not going to tip their hand on where the convoy is going yet, because it's only September. And now we're to production. We're to diplomacy. Germans could pull or put stuff in the cup. If they put stuff in the cup, they're making it more likely that they'll get the West to pull. And the Soviets don't want to pull a political success, because then they might have to. I think the only pro marker on the board is Allied, right? So it's more likely that the Soviets would put in pro political successes if they do anything at all. So do I set myself up to try for an October-November double whammy? Or do I just give up on diplomacy altogether? That's the real question. Who can I get with a double hit? Right? Who's still neutral? Greece, right? And Sweden. So I guess I could try to go for Sweden in the long run. All right, we'll try and do that. We'll go for Sweden. The West will be like, well, the worst thing that happens on a political failure is nothing. So I will pull. They pulled a no event. Now, the Soviets can't really pull, because if they get that political success, they'll have to take the marker out of Portugal. So I think, and I know this sounds weird, but I really want to set this up for the Brits. So that even if the Germans get a political success, the British have a chance to get one back. So I'm actually going to put a political success back in. So I'm actually making it for the last couple turns before we go to war that there's, a fair number of successes in the cup. All right, the Germans said, no way, I'm not fighting any of these people. The British are like, well, I want Portugal on my side. Greece, I don't want to go that far. Vichy's too far to get away, and I can't get to Sweden, so I'm not going to declare war either. And we're back to here. And this is where we're going to cut, because we're a little over an hour. So we got in September 43. The weather is poor in the fair zone, in the mild zone, and the warm zone, and the cold zone, which is bad for the Germans, because that means French North Africa is probably going to hold. Now, fortunately, it doesn't mean a doodly squat around Suez, because that's in the desert terrain. So I can still do stuff around Suez. But the British are going to be fives. So things are going to be bad for me there. I probably will give one to the Italians. And that's going to be probably about it. And then I'm going to have to seriously rethink what I'm doing here in the Middle East on whether I'm going to try and even hold on to all this, or just give up the ghost. I know very shortly I'm going to give up the ghost. I have to. I want to keep the Russians from swinging through Turkey, I want to keep the British from swinging north up through Turkey. I'm not sure if the British would go north through Turkey or if they would go. Well, yeah, if they really were going to go anywhere, they want to try to go take out Iraq because that's a +2 on the strategic warfare thing. And if you go through 44, where you're on the plus side net wise from the Germans. Germans maybe have 3, and you've got like 2 from the U.S. and then like 4, an extra 2 or 3 from the bombing campaign. Then you're on the plus side of those equations, and you can start chipping away at the German production total, which makes them less able to move everything they need to move to defend both fronts. And then the Italians are basically going to be playing a delaying game, knowing that they probably will be conquered sometime in 44. They're just going to try and delay the inevitable. Okay. That sounds reasonable. All right. So that's it. That's it for this session. We will pick up with the transfer of production points next time. Not sure when next time will be. My schedule's kind of funky, but we'll see. Subscribe, hit that notify button, and you'll know when I'm going to schedule the next one of these. What else do I need to say? Oh yeah, definitely hit the like button because that helps the algorithm of YouTube. That's important to YouTube to see how many likes people have. Subscribers are nice. It's nice to know that people are actually watching me on a fairly regular basis. But YouTube only cares about the like buttons. So likes and views, that's what they want. Likes and views, likes and views. So give it a view, hit the like button, and then YouTube will be happy. All right. Yeah, this is Dren 608. As always, stay safe and bye-bye.